Just like to start by saying how sorry I'm going to hear about the passing of Jeff Dickerson, and certainly our condolences to his son Parker. And sure, it's very sad news for especially all the people on the call here.
Thank you, Coach. All right, we can go ahead and get started with questions. Dan Wiederer.
Morning, Bill.
Morning.
Based on what you guys saw at practice yesterday, where are you leaning in terms of quarterbacks and what's happening with that flow chart this week?
We're definitely going to have one, Dan, but that's for someone else to answer.
Andy was obviously full yesterday, and that's the first time he's practicing full for a while. Your sense of how he looked?
Yeah, he looked full to me, definitely.
Bill, I guess while the mic's still open here and the hands were slow coming up, but when Jimmy on the play right before Jimmy scored the touchdown, when you see him lined up outside to the left with a 9-inch, 90-pound advantage on a guy and knowing what you're getting, what's your vantage point from up top on understanding that you guys got exactly what you wanted in the chess match?
Well, we in those kind of situations, most people are gonna play zone. It's not 100%. So when you put the tight ends, because we had the tight ends outside on both sides, when you put them outside, usually you're going to get them on the corners. And I think we knew with Seattle kind of where their corner situation had them this week. So it worked out. They could, once you line up and call the play, they can always change, but they didn't. And so it was one of those that fell into place. And I mean, the guy has obviously proven to have such a knack for going up to get the football. And I thought the thing that Nick did really well, which Nick does really well, is Nick has a really good sense of how do I throw the ball on this play as far as the amount of air, the amount of touch. Nick's a good touch passer. And so it all worked out really, really, obviously we're all happy.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Bill, trying to put Justin Fields' rookie year in perspective. I know there's still 2 games to go, but he's had certainly enough of a sample size. Obviously, all rookie quarterbacks are most struggle, but relative to other rookie quarterbacks in recent years, he's lower on the list statistically. And maybe that's not a fair comparison, maybe it is, but what do you think? What's the best way you can kind of put his kind of trajectory in as a rookie in perspective?
Well, I think I probably won't go much further, Mark, than saying rising, because as you mentioned, we're not done. I think especially during the season, our tendency is to look at the specifics. Like when you say the ups and downs, and I know we've talked about it before, I think of ups and downs happening within the game, especially for a rookie quarterback. And some of the things that stick to me right now, stick in my mind, are the drives to take the lead at the end of some of the games, in the second half of his time that he played so far, and watching from the press box him maybe have a play that he didn't handle just like he wanted to early in the game, but then still be able to finish the game the way he has finished some of these games, and some fourth quarter drives for scores. I think have been pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Pat Finley.
Bill, I'm curious what you appreciated about David Montgomery's physicality on Sunday in those conditions. It seemed like he made a decision to kind of go through guys rather than around them.
Yeah, one of the things that I was interested to see as the game started was how well guys were going to be able to turn the corner, whether or not we would be able to run the ball both inside and outside. And one of the things I thought early on, we had a little bit of success with some of the inside runs, getting David downhill, and I don't mean just the backs, but also with the linemen. Sometimes in those kind of conditions, it's just easier to go straight at them. And David certainly looked like he had that mindset the way he was playing. And at the end of the game, a couple of those run after catches, and we probably had 3 plays in a row. Darnell had the first one, and then David had 2. And I thought those were huge plays. But that's. Yeah, he looked like he was all for going straight ahead, and I think it worked out.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, Bill, with Larry and Tevin, you guys obviously have the benefit of their versatility that they've played right and left. I'm wondering, in your experience, how important is it to try to get one of those, to know a guy's positions early on in his career and try to get him to stick to it as much as you can? Obviously, situations come up, but is that overvalued, or is that important to try to get a guy to stick there?
I think for most guys, it helps them to be in one spot with consistency. The NFL doesn't always allow that to be the case. I've been somewhere before with a rookie tackle who we felt really good was improving on the right side. Midway through the season, we lost a veteran left tackle, and we made the decision to move the rookie from the right to the left. Probably if we had gone back, we would have said, hey, for this guy this year, the better thing would have been to keep him where he was, because he was playing better on the right than he played on the left. But you don't know that when when you decide to make the move. You thought you had a better right tackle to come in, and become the old third tackle to become the new guy. So you have to weigh all those things. So would everyone like to have 100% consistency in their footwork and just play in one spot? I would think most guys would say yes. But we've got to do what we have to do to win this next game. And sometimes that means moving guys around, and sometimes it's because we think you can move and we think the next best guy to come in should go to that side. It isn't always just that one person. You're trying kind of dealing with the dynamic of the whole line. So that's I guess a very generic but honest way to answer the question about moving those guys around.
Larry Mayer.
Hey, Bill, you've had 3 quarterbacks this year. All of them have engineered a late touchdown drive to take the lead in the last couple minutes of the game. Can you tell me how the mindset of a quarterback changes? And when you look at those games, I think it was against Pittsburgh and Baltimore before Seattle. Are there similarities? Were they all different? How do you kind of look at those?
They definitely are different in the fact that when we are on the sideline, or me in the booth and them on the sideline before those drives, and we were very specific about, okay, this is what we expect to see from this defense. So, we've game planned them. Usually we get Mike Furry, who does a lot of the lead in the 2-minute study, and we just make sure we're all remembering it, and we go to our notes and seeing it the same way. And so based on this prep, this is what we think we're going to get. So in those ways, they're different. I think the key for us, just think of Darnell Mooney on that the first play of that drive. Nick threw him the completion. He had a heck of a run after the catch, right? He broke through some tackles, was still fighting, almost popped out at the end. And then when he got up off the ground, I don't know if you remember, if you watch it, he immediately ran in. It was only about 4 or 5 yards, and placed the ball right on the hash where it's supposed to be. Now, the official was standing right there. Some other teams, right, you see guys flip the ball to the official. Have you ever seen the official drop the ball? You have. So we don't do that. We put the ball, but it was the mindset that Darnell had was, this is my job. This is how we operate in this situation. And even after all that effort, he didn't get up. He didn't celebrate. He just ran in and put the ball down on the hash to get ready to get lined up for the next play. When you watch that as a coach, you feel like, okay, we've gotten through to these guys. Like it's not magic. It's execution under pressure, as if there was no pressure, and just operate and do your job and be as efficient as you can. And I just thought that was just, and of course the play stopped because of the penalty on the defense, but it was just a sign that the unit is clued in to how we want to get it done in those situations. And so I felt really good when we saw that happen. And I think that's what's been helping us in those situations is just, hey, we got to be a machine, meaning operate all together as efficiently as we can.
Mark Grody.
Hey, Bill, again, drawing on the, having put together game plans and play calling subsequently for 3 different quarterbacks. Do you at all, as an offensive coordinator, like that challenge, like having the diversification? Obviously, you'd like to have one guy, but do you kind of like the challenge of trying to bring out the best in 3 different skill sets?
Not really, Mark. I guess my mind immediately went to some of these weeks where during the week you don't know who it's going to be. That's difficult. It is hard. And I'll let me say this. hats off to Nick Foles, because when you're going through a week, it's hard enough to prepare as the starting quarterback. Excuse me. Sorry. It's hard enough to prepare as the starting quarterback when you have 1 week to prepare for this opponent. Make it harder, a short week right after a Monday night football game. Now, all of a sudden, you don't know at the beginning of the week for sure who the starter is going to be because of injuries. And you don't get all the reps all week in practice because guys are limited and in or out. And that's hard. So now you come to the weekend and we're all talking among the coaches and then also with Nick as we're getting ready for him to start the game of which plays we like and which situations. And he helps rank them at what he likes. And, so we take everybody's input. Some of those plays he never executed on the practice field or in a walkthrough. Like this time of year, sometimes everything isn't full speed, right? A lot of it's walkthrough because of guys' bodies. But at least you get to walk through and you get to see the guy walk through the route and, you kind of lob it to him. And so Nick had some plays, he didn't even get that. So my hat's off to him, really. It's difficult. So as coaches, you asked about game plan for different guys. I'd at least like to know through the week who it's going to be. And so these weeks have been a little bit challenging, honestly. And I mean, I enjoy what I do. You said, do you like it? I enjoy what I do, but I'd like it to be easier.
Last question, Dan Weeder.
So you're saying you don't want to get a peek at Ryan Willis this Sunday, basically, right?
I'm sure Ryan will do a heck of a job if given the opportunity.
On Khalil
Sure, it was
Herbert.
exciting. I'm sure it was exciting for him and his family last weekend.
On Khalil Herbert's touchdown run last week, I'm curious from the whole thing, pre-snap, post-snap, the things for you that impressed you as a coach that allowed that thing to run as smoothly as it did.
I thought offensively, kind of our shotgun run series really helped us in the game. If you look at the times when we spread the field out, got in the shotgun and handed the ball off, I thought we got a lot of production out of that. And that was another example. I think it was second long. And we started, actually, Khalil started out as a wide receiver. And then by the time he came back into the backfield, you saw the defense really look like they were playing pass, right? If you watch, it appears that the linebackers probably were changing the call now, telling the defensive lineman not to drop into max drop, but to go ahead and rush. But I think offensively, we were both by the formation, the pre-snap shift, the formation, and then all of the calls that have to go with the spread out run game. I think we really handled a lot of different things mentally, even before the snap, on a lot of those shotgun runs. And that was definitely an example. The linemen are reading the box and how many people are in the box and the alignment of the linebackers. And we just took so many things into account. And then because we can handle that, our guys can handle that kind of communication and reading the defense. We were able to just create so much space on the field. They really spread out. It looked like they were covering the pass, right? So I thought it was well executed mentally by our guys, even before the ball was snapped. And then, what Khalil has shown is when you get him a crease. I think this year as a rookie, he's shown to really be decisive. Sometimes college running backs, they're used to having a little more time to see it and get through the hole, not knowing how quickly NFL holes can close. I think Khalil's done a really nice job of making the transition to how decisive an NFL running back has to be. And that was the case getting through the front.